Imagine this. You're walking through a storm. Not rain or thunder, but opinions, judgments, expectations. Some come as whispers, others strike like lightning. Why didn't you respond? You should be more ambitious. Are you even trying hard enough? Every word hooks into your skin, dragging you in different directions until you forget which way was yours. You smile when you don't want to. You explain yourself when no one asked. You scroll through praise and criticism like they carry equal weight. Your peace, auctioned off to the world, piece by piece. But here's the paradox. The more you care what others think, the less of yourself remains. You become a mirror, reflecting everything around you, yet seeing nothing within. You strive to be liked, understood, validated, and in doing so, you vanish. So the question isn't just how do I stop caring? It's what am I giving up when I care too much? And more importantly, who could I become if I didn't? This isn't apathy, it's not nihilism. This is something far older, wiser, harder. It's Stoicism, the ancient art of inner liberation. And if practiced deeply, it doesn't just make you strong, it makes you untouchable. But first, you'll have to unlearn everything the world taught you about what matters. Let's begin. You weren't born with the need to impress. You didn't enter this world worrying about followers, image, or reputation. That obsession was installed, slowly, systematically, by a culture that rewards appearance over authenticity, by parents who feared judgment, by schools that trained you to obey, by systems that promised safety if only you'd give up your sovereignty. And so you did. Little by little, you learned to care what others think. Not out of choice, but survival. You learned to flinch when criticized, to glow when praised. You outsourced your value to external measurement, marks, titles, applause, and eventually you forgot that you once belonged to yourself. The Stoics saw this trap centuries ago. Epictetus wrote, "If someone succeeds in provoking you, realize that your mind is complicit in the provocation." In other words, it's not what happens, but how you interpret it. That's where your suffering and your freedom live. But how can you resist a world designed to make you care? Here's where the depth of Stoicism reveals its power. Unlike surface-level advice to just not care, Stoicism never preaches apathy. It asks for radical clarity. Marcus Aurelius, Roman emperor and philosopher, faced betrayal, war, and death daily. And yet he wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This isn't motivational fluff, it's a psychological rebellion. Because modern psychology agrees, your need for validation isn't hardwired. It's conditioned. Social comparison, as explained in cognitive theory, is a mental shortcut. A way to feel safe by measuring yourself against others. But in today's hyper-connected world, that mechanism has turned toxic. We compare endlessly, and we care compulsively. Schopenhauer warned of this too. He said that most people are not truly themselves. They are an echo of public opinion. And Viktor Frankl, survivor of Auschwitz, reminded us, everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances. The hidden problem, then, is not that we care, it's that we've forgotten what deserves our care, and that forgetting costs us dearly: peace, focus, purpose, self-respect. But Stoicism offers a path back, a way to separate the meaningful from the meaningless, a way to live without being pulled in 1,000 directions, a way to stop reacting and start ruling yourself. And that begins with understanding the cost of caring about the wrong things. You think it's just a little thing, caring what they say, what they post, what they expect. You think it's harmless, maybe even necessary. But like a slow leak in the hull of a ship, it begins to flood you. Not all at once, silently, consistently. Until one day, you're not steering anymore. You've become reactive, One negative comment ruins your day. One sideways glance haunts your confidence. One rejection makes you question your worth. And here's the most terrifying part. You don't even notice it happening. You're too busy keeping up with trends, with opinions, with the shifting tides of what's acceptable, respectable, likable. And in this race to be seen, you vanish. Psychologically, this is called external locus of control, a life ruled by forces outside yourself. Every mood, every decision becomes a slave to the approval or disapproval of others. Your peace? For sale, your mind, public property, your identity, crowdsourced. Neurologically, it creates a feedback loop of anxiety. Dopamine spikes when you're praised. Cortisol floods when you're criticized. Your brain, like a slot machine, learns to crave the next hit of validation and fear the next blow of rejection. Over time, this erodes resilience. It makes you fragile, hypervigilant, shallow, and, culturally, it feeds the machine. A society obsessed with image thrives on people who fear being disliked. Algorithms reward outrage. Corporations monetize insecurity, and the more you care, the more you click, the more you comply. This is no longer just a personal issue, it's existential. Because when everyone is afraid to displease, no one dares to be honest. When every face is a mask, truth becomes unbearable. When we all care too much, nothing real survives. The Stoics knew this well. Seneca warned that he who seeks approval from the crowd has made himself their slave. And Marcus Aurelius wrote, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own. The unseen consequence of caring too much? You live someone else's life. You fight someone else's battles. You die someone else's death. So what's the way out? Not withdrawal, not cynicism, not apathy, but discipline, clarity, and the ruthless sorting of what deserves your energy and what does not. Because the moment you stop answering to everyone else, you start hearing the only voice that ever mattered, your own. You don't escape by running away. You escape by returning to yourself. This is the rebellion the Stoics spoke of. A rebellion not of swords and blood, but of mind, of attention, of sovereignty. The world wants your reaction. Stoicism teaches you how to withhold it. Not because you're cold, but because you're free. Here's where the transformation begins, through 7 core principles, forged in ancient battlefields and inner wars. Each one is a blade, a shield, a key. 1. Control what you can. Let go of the rest. This is a cornerstone. Epictetus said, "Some things are up to us and some things are not. Your thoughts, yours. Your actions, yours. The opinions of strangers, not yours. Let them pass like weather, irrelevant, uncontrollable, forgotten too. Internalize your standards." Seneca reminded us that the wise man is content with himself. Stop measuring your worth by shifting metrics. Define your own code. Hold yourself to your standard, not theirs. 3. Practice voluntary discomfort. Wear the simple shirt, take the cold shower, face rejection. The more you expose yourself to discomfort, the less power others have to manipulate you with fear. The man who is not afraid to suffer cannot be controlled. 4. Delay your reaction. Anger, shame, offense, all are impulsive storms. Pause. Breathe. Marcus Aurelius would remind himself, you don't have to turn this into something. When you don't react, you break the spell. 5. Know the role you play. You are not everyone's savior. You are not here to be liked by all. Life is a stage and you play your part, not for applause, but for truth. Let others cheer or boo, stay in character. 6. Journal your thoughts. Each day reflect. What made you care too much? What wasn't worth your energy? Stoic journaling is surgical. It reveals the traps you walk into and teaches you how to walk out. 7. Memento mori. Remember, you will die. the harshest and the most liberating. When death becomes real, petty opinions lose their grip. You see life as it is, brief, beautiful, unpromised, and suddenly the need to impress dissolves like mist. This is not about becoming invincible. It's about becoming undisturbed, anchored, clear. While the world shouts, you remain still. While others crave applause, you walk away. Not because you don't care about anything, but because you've chosen what's worth caring about. And in that choice, you become dangerous.
There's a moment, silent, almost imperceptible, when the weight lifts. Not because the world changed, but because you did. You feel it like a breaking of chains, like an inhale you didn't realize you'd been holding your entire life. And then it hits you. You were never meant to be understood by everyone. The truth, most people aren't thinking about you at all. Their judgments are reflections of their fears, their insecurities, their conditioning. What you took personally was never personal. It was projection. And once you see that, you stop dancing. You stop shrinking to fit their expectations. You stop chasing validation like it's oxygen. You stop editing yourself in real time to avoid discomfort, because now you understand the greatest Stoic lesson of all. You are responsible for your mind and nothing else. The world will rage. People will misunderstand you. Your efforts may go unseen. Your silence may be mocked. Your choices may be called arrogance, selfishness, even cruelty, but none of that belongs to you. Let them have their opinions. Let them throw their stones. You owe them nothing but the example of a life lived deliberately. This is the final, most liberating paradox. The less you care about being liked, the more love you create. Because now it's real, now it's earned, now it's rooted in truth, not performance. Marcus Aurelius sat alone in his tent, surrounded by war, betrayal, and the weight of an empire. Yet in his private meditations, he wrote words that now echo across centuries. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be one. This is what Stoicism leads to, not numbness, but clarity, not apathy, but discernment, not detachment from life, but devotion to what truly matters. So when the noise returns, and it will, you'll meet it with stillness. When the judgment comes, and it will, you'll meet it with grace. And when the world demands your attention, you'll offer your silence. Not as retreat, but as power. Because you've learned the truth. Not caring isn't about shutting out the world. It's about returning home to yourself, undefended, undistracted, unmoved. That is the art. That is the rebellion. That is the freedom. And now, it's yours.